Hey guys, welcome back again. If you know that reference, you are awesome. But anyway, back to the video. Today, we are going to be filling in all of the surrounding area with some really slummy, yucky looking residential blocks. Not really blocks, but like block buildings. And so it's going to be like council housings. I don't even know what else you'd call it. It's like just, if you go to a Russian map and you look at the layout, you'll see a lot of buildings that are just popped up and there's like bits of space between, little bits of green space, lots of car parks, things like that. So that's what I'm planning on doing today, and I know it's on top of a hill, so it's kind of going to be like really obvious for everyone to look at. And when they look at it, it's going to be like, ew, the city looks so but yeah, but you know what, I kind of like doing this stuff. I find it fun. I like doing the slummy things. Maybe it's because I don't have to do as much detail, because I just fill it in with a lot of like bushy grass and like shrubs and stuff, and some playgrounds here and there. But anyway, I didn't post yesterday because when I went to post, when I just looked at it, YouTube was down. I kid you not, YouTube was down, and it wasn't just for me, it was for the whole area that I'm in now. I don't know if it's for the whole city here, but it definitely was not working. And then, so that was yesterday. And then this morning I checked and it still wasn't up. It still wasn't working. So I don't know what was going on. So hopefully by the time I've finished editing, doing all of this video, doing everything on this, it's all ready to go and it's up and working. So otherwise, what's gonna happen? So now, I kind of like this area because it's not flat. It gives me something really interesting to work with. Lots of different shapes, lots of wavy roads. It has the huge highway tunnels, I guess you'd call it. It has a lot of roads, industrial area. So it's really not that much of an appealing area. It's definitely somewhere you would go if you were desperate to be. And you know what? Every city has it, every city needs it. So, and I know that probably sounds bad, like poor people need housing, right? It sounds bad, but it's a normal thing for the city, and especially for a Russian style city. And I really wanted to get this whole area done because it was basically a link between the downtown area that was already complete and the surrounding area. So I just wanted to basically build up in between the gap and actually make it all actually connect. Because for the last few videos, the downtown area has just been sitting there on its own. It hasn't really connected to anything, but now, at the end of this video, you'll see that it is connected, which is great. Yippee-yay-oo! Now, I lowered the speed of this road because, first of all, it was 130, so I put it down to 80, and then 90 or 70 or something like that. But it was also so fast that it was lagging my game incredibly. Now, I have a really strong computer, not bragging about that, but I have a really strong computer. It has 32 gigs of RAM, and it was lagging seriously. It was down to like 15, 12 frame rates per second. Usually for me it's about 30 or high 20s. So this area here, you can see it's got larger roads, so I don't really have any reason why I did that. Maybe it was so it looks more official because it's near a main road and it's more near the larger buildings on the side of the road there. But I guess I just wanted the more, let's just call it the feral areas, the parts on the hill. I wanted the feral areas to kind of flow into more of a grid looking area. To me, that just looks good in my opinion, so sue me. So this is a high school, an elementary school, so definitely do need those in the area. There is one actually in the area already on the other side of this whole feral area, but it was quite small, like a capacity of about 100. But then again, this whole area it's not that big. But then again, when I finish the whole area, there is a lot of apartment buildings. So, and just so you guys know, the look that I'm going for is not super compact. So when it's finished, you'll see that there's a lot of space between each building. There's a lot of like hillsides, there's a lot of shrubs, there's a lot of parking. It's just open, so I didn't want it to have a really compact look. And also that's because it's up on the hill. So I didn't want to make it really compact up on a hill. So that's just something that, I don't know. Sometimes I just have an instinct of how things should look, and then it turns out good and you guys really like it. This whole area Actually, I forgot completely what I was going to say. Don't you just hate when that happens? But actually, I think what I was going to say is how long it takes me to actually find different buildings to put in this whole area, or not just this area, but the whole city in general, because a lot of the buildings I have been placing myself, which is something that I don't usually do for the whole city. So the only areas that I haven't really been placing buildings myself are for within industrial areas. Now, even within the industrial areas, I have been placing some just to make it look more filled in. And then some of the commercial I haven't been placing, but majority of it all is placed. Now, you can see that this whole area, it's starting to come together quite well, and I'm putting in a lot of these larger, 10-story blocks, which they probably have a really great view from up on the hill. And who knows, maybe one day gentrification will come along and be like, hey, this is actually a really good place. Maybe we can turn this into something luxury. So that is probably something that will happen, because it does happen all over the world. And just so you know, if you don't know what gentrification means, it means when there's an old style buildings, maybe you have a warehouse district that is then converted into something nice and like upper scale. So that is basically a very quick explanation of what gentrification is. Now, I put in that one large building there because this whole area is right next to those larger buildings. So I wanted to make sure that there's a flow from really large, which is the downtown, and then down a bit lower, which is the that real big estate that I did, and then down into this area, which is basically really, I guess you would call it medium density living space. But yeah, so this whole part here with the larger roads, now this part here is more compact, but as soon as you get past that, on the other side is all of the big housing estate area. All of it is the big industrial, the residential estate. And in case you didn't catch that, I put in some little corner stores throughout the whole area. Now, I'm not very familiar if they do that in normal housing estates. They put little corner stores, but I think it's a handy little thing to have, right? It's always just easy to have that little corner store that you can just run down to if you forget something, even if it is more expensive, right? Now, I haven't put any public transport in yet, and you guys have been saying like, well, where is it? And I say this every time I build a city, that it's hard for me to do the public transport completely when the city is not even a quarter of the way complete yet. So if I do some kind of public transport, then I'm just going to have to end up changing it and keep on moving it around and things like that as the city grows, and I'd rather do it all at once. So the city basically has to struggle for a really long time. And if you look at the year of the city in the game, it's actually already around 100. I can't see it from back here, but I remember it's like really close to 100, or if not more than 100 years already. And I remember in St. Petersburg it was like year 2400 or something. And you know why that is? It's because I go in the city off camera and I just go through and tweak little things, nothing that's really important, but like maybe I'll just add a few trees here and there. I might just change a few little things around, and then I'll just let it run. And I just like to watch it. Like sometimes maybe I'll be editing a video and then I like to just let it run in the background so I can just watch it, and to me it's quite nice. So anyway, back to the video. This area here, I was like, what should I do? So I decided to fence it off and make it their own little playground area, because usually I just leave everything open, like everyone can just walk everywhere. But from now, this area is just going to be a little area for some playgrounds, maybe some seating areas, and basically it is their big backyard. And I put in the same playgrounds for pretty much everywhere, because there's not much variety. And I thought I downloaded a pack of playgrounds and stuff like that, some chairs and tables and stuff, but I couldn't find it. There was some of them, but most of them didn't appear in my list right there down the bottom. So we're just stuck with the similar ones, and I put in some more palm trees, guys. So I hope you guys have another whinge about that. No offense, but like, you guys need to chill. So we're getting towards the end. Now you can see that I'm not filling in the whole area with buildings like I said I wasn't going to. It's going to be a lot of vegetation. Now I was like, should I just do big bits of green space? but the areas, they are kind of a bit hilly, and it just seemed a little bit weird just to leave it open and have green space everywhere. So there still will be some bits of green space, but just not everywhere. So this part here, this will be one open bit of green space for them. And I didn't actually check if, see how it's raised up here? I put in the wall barrier there. And yes, it has a fence on it, so just for security, but I didn't actually check if they can actually, if there's an actual bit of a view from that point. I'm sure there is a little bit, but most of it, it wouldn't really look out too far. But I think it was good to have that wall barrier there just to make it like their own little seating area. I just put in some chairs, some dead trees, and I think it's just what we needed, because if I filled that in with buildings, it just wouldn't look as good, right? And I know what you guys are going to say, like, oh, some of your vegetation is growing over the side of the pathway. And you know what? I actually love the fact that it's growing over the side, that I misplaced it a little bit. Because to me, I wanted it to all look like it's still lived in, but it's not kept as nice as it used to be. It's a little rundown, the vegetation is a little wild, and it's not that pretty, right? So that's the look that I'm going for, and I think I achieved it, because all the buildings are very dreary looking, right? They're not that good. And this whole area is right next to that industrial area. So hopefully a lot of these guys or girls or gals, they'll all work in that industrial area, because we were still needing a lot of people to facilitate or to move in to work there. And so hopefully they all do, because I don't think there's much work opportunities left in the downtown or that big industrial or that big residential estate that I did. So hopefully, and I think from this, so after this video, I'm thinking, what should I do next? Because I feel like it's time that I did some kind of big project. Now, the airport, I literally have no idea where I want to put that, because it's so hilly, and some of you guys have suggested putting it right near the downtown, and I'm like, why? It's downtown, it shouldn't be that close to the downtown, so an airport should be somewhere a little bit away. So I don't want to do the downtown, the airport really close to the downtown. So I think what's going to happen is I'll have to put in like a little airport, like the small district one, way out a little bit. So yeah, so don't expect a really large one. And those bushes or whatever I just put down, those are actually the in-game ones. So a lot of you guys ask, where can you download that? It's in your game. Just go to the I think they put it with the rocks for some reason. So it's like ground cover shrubs and stuff like that. And I put in a sound barrier fence right next to the school, because it is a really high one. So, and since the school is right next to the main road, so we want to protect them. We want to make sure that they're really safe. And also, I put a lot of commercial right next to the highway. So obviously the highway is going to be noisy. You don't really want to live right there. So that's why there's a lot of commercial here. And right now I'm just finishing off the area, so just putting in a few larger buildings, because on the other side of the highway there is that office and industrial area from the last video that has some high office buildings. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This is the last little bit here. So, and I know this video hasn't been much, and I know last video was a speed build as well, but you know what, sometimes I just need to do it, because if I just build everything on camera and go through and delete things, and it takes so much longer, and I actually just prefer to put in my headphones and just build and show you guys after. Anyway guys, this is how it's turned out, and I think it's actually exactly how I wanted it. So the areas that I did in the last video, I think it blends in quite well, and I tried not to use really high density buildings. Well, not high density, just really tall buildings, because I think if I did that, it wouldn't look like it's a whole residential public housing estate, because generally in real life you have the housing estates at the same level. Now they might be high, but they're all generally at the same height. So there's a little playground in there, the wall barrier, probably not the most nicest place to live. It's probably quite noisy, right? But yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, so let me know what you think. And don't forget to leave a suggestion as to like some kind of big project. I feel like doing something big, something unique, something that I haven't done much before. So I don't know, stadium, airport, I'm not sure. But just before I go, I feel like this whole area, it does have basically everything they need. So there's fire, there's medical, there's police, there's the schools, so everything is there. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys didn't mind that this was a speed build, and I'll see you guys hopefully very soon tomorrow. Bye guys.